This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Well, hello, everybody. It's your boy, Jay McLovin, coming to you from the afternoon sports show here on ESEN Network. And today we got a special guest with us, former minor league baseball player from the New York Mets organization, graduated from Lamar University out here in the great state of Texas, Austin Faith. Also with us, we got, as always, our boy Tony Gonzalez as our moderator, and Big Glenn, who's not showing his face. I don't know if it's because he's a Cowboys fan and he's scared what backlash he might get from it. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't really matter because we're going to get the win tonight, right? And with that being said, if you like today's stuff, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and on our YouTube pages as well as Gonzo's Sports Room. Without further ado, Tony, take it away, brother.
All right, man. Well, let's jump into some baseball. Jay, your Astros got a big win last night, a comeback win, 8-7 over the Yankees. That division, like you mentioned pre-show, Texas is only a game and a half out of the wild card. Kansas City 2.5 out of the wild card. I think Seattle's 3 back of you guys. So that division's really heating up. See what's going to happen there. About 22, 23 games left. Personally, I think my Reds are done. They're 6 back now, and the Giants have leapfrogged them. They're only 5 back. The Reds got up 5-1, ended up losing the game 13-9. They're just not playing well right now. The Mets even lost yesterday. Could have helped their case, but I think it's just a lack of experience. I mean, a team that's not used to winning, and they're falling apart right now. So unfortunately, but I do have a question for you guys. First of all, the Giants are really playing good baseball right now. Only 5 back in the wild card. 22, 23 games left. Can the Giants get there? Can they make the wild card? So I'll leave it to you guys there. What do you guys think? And then we'll talk a little Astros and Yankees.
I'll go ahead and lead it off for this one since we're talking about Reds in that way. The Reds, they're going to make the playoffs as much as the LA Sparks will for the WNBA. It just ain't going to happen, So, but to answer your question, Tony, I think the Giants can make the wild card. They're looking pretty good right now, and I think they got a good shot to potentially catch it.
Interesting. Austin, how you feel about that, brother?
No, I agree. The Giants are going to make it. They have one of the greatest veteran post-game players on their staff, Justin Verlander. I mean, I think he's going to set the tempo and bring them what they need to bring that next level focus to getting to the playoffs because he's done it so many times.
Yeah, so a couple of things stick out at me. Number one, they have I would say a medium schedule between now and postseason play, right? So they're going to have to go through Arizona. They're going to have to go through St. Louis. They got to go through Arizona twice. They go through St. Louis twice. They go through the Dodgers twice before they wrap it up with the Rockies. I'm curious, Austin. LA's playing some really good ball. That's like 7 games. That's like 10, 13 games right there against some above 500 competition. How do you see them faring through that?
I think they'll do good. I mean, this time of the season is when you see the best baseball. It's that crunch time. A lot of guys play a little bit more conservative because it is a long season, 162 games. So, they kind of slow play it. Just try to shy away from injuries for as long as you can. Then once you get to this time period, it's anybody's game. And then postseason, it gets even harder. And I don't know. I think it'll be a lot of shocking teams. I don't want LA in it because they're always in it. But seeing Giants or some of these other lower level teams don't really get the recognition. That's what I always root for, anyways.
I want to dive a little bit deeper real quick into Verlander since he's part of the Giants. And obviously, Verlander has, I don't know, you know, I feel like he's way taking a step back, way taking it. He does not look like the same Verlander that I saw in Houston, that I saw with Detroit. He's 3-10 overall for his record, 4.29 ERA, 1.43 WHIP. He's 1-4 away, and he's got a 5.10 WHIP. Excuse me, a 5.10 ERA. Do you feel like he's going to actually have that kind of effect on this organization as we go into playoffs? I mean, I know playoffs is another caliber, but it just seems like he's taking a step back.
Absolutely. Look at Tom Brady. He could do whatever he wanted to do during regular season. As soon as playoffs started, you did not bet against that man. Like
Right.
Verlander, I mean, he's 40-something years old. He's the first. Him and Randy Johnson are the only ones to throw 100+ pitch games past 40 years old. So, I mean, of course he's going to be a little banged up here and there, but the amount of positive that he brings to that team to push them to that next level and to set that standard is, I mean, that's enough to where he can go out there and kind of do whatever he wants. I mean, I think he'll shove. I think if they make postseason, he'll step it up, and I bet he sits like a 1.5 ERA in postseason.
Yeah. I'm going to cut you some slack on the name that you missed, only because you're a young guy. I think the underwear I'm wearing currently is probably older than you are. Don't tell Melanie that, because I'm hiding those underwear from her because it's my lucky Dallas Cowboy underwear. So don't tell her that I have that underwear still here on Earth. But with that having been said, I'm going to tell you, listen, I cannot believe you would not throw the great Nolan Ryan when you talk about 100+ pitches a game past the age of 40. Why would you leave him out?
I don't know if he did he?
Oh,
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah,
Austin,
I
yes,
just saw
sir.
something the other day.
Yes, sir. Yes,
that
sir.
was- It was
Austin,
him and Randy Johnson are the only two. They're the only two right now. That was just something I saw the other day.
I know what you saw, Austin. If I believed everything I saw on AI or Google, I'd be a billionaire or I don't know. Austin, you probably don't remember this, but he actually threw a no-hitter with the Rangers over the age of 40. I'm just letting you. There's a couple of things to throw out there. It's okay, Austin. You're a young guy, probably the youngest on the panel, so I'm gonna let you slack on that a little bit, man. But you're from Texas. I was hoping I'd hear a Nolan Ryan out of you. Austin, I'm very
Everybody talks about Nolan Ryan. Everybody says that name. So we try to move past that one. And everybody tries to use that as an example to everybody's arm and everybody's throw. And they're like,
That's true.
Ryan did it. Nolan Ryan did it. That's one dude out of a million.
That's true. You're right. No, you are definitely right.
I think
You're definitely
the
right.
number of players that have ever played in the big leagues is like 27,000 some change. So I have 27,000 guys to ever play in big league baseball. One guy is the only name that everybody mentions. No doubt. I mean, he's a legend. He's great. He could pitch today and do well.
Hey, against some of the pitches I've seen, you probably can.
He was so overpowered. It was like having a cheat code 30 years ago. Like, I mean, that's insane. It was like he was throwing to high school guys.
Yeah. But I guess to answer my spill on what I think, I do agree with both of you guys. I think San Francisco, most likely, only because the recent skid now of the Reds, and let's be honest, Tony, you know, like I know, you guys don't have an easy line, an easy schedule. I mean, you guys got a very, very challenging schedule. That's the only reason why I feel like you guys are pretty much eliminated unless something crazy happens. I just don't see it. So yeah, I do have San Francisco sliding up in that manner. How far they go, I got to be honest with you. Maybe divisional. I don't see them going past divisional. Does anybody see the Giants going past the divisional round?
I don't see it, but you never know. You get hot at the right time. There's been teams that win the World Series that probably maybe not always the best team wins the World Series. So a team can get hot. And back to the Reds real quick, their only chance is they got a 3-game series coming up with the Mets. They would have to sweep that series and get back within 3 games to have a chance. I think that if they don't sweep that series this weekend, I think they're done. And I'm not holding my breath. I mean, I'm hoping that they do, but it don't look. They're not playing good baseball right now at all.
My only other question for you guys individually is there. So San Francisco now is 4 games back. I just told you all the teams they still have left to play for San Francisco. When you look at the New York Mets schedule, they have, and I'm pulling that up right now. Let's see here. They have Texas. They have Philadelphia. They still have to play the Reds, which obviously, Tony, for you, that's probably one of your biggest series right there, trying to get even with them. And then they had the Padres, and then they had the Cubs. So it's not like the Mets have the easiest schedule either. What are y'all's chances do you all think that the Mets do slide out and San Francisco slides in?
I got nothing. Sorry, I was looking up. You're wrong. Randy Johnson, Justin Verlander are the only 2 to throw over 100 pitches at past the age of 40 in a complete game. Nolan Ryan, he's thrown some notable games past the age of 40, but never over 100 pitches.
I didn't listen to anything he said after the first word. What happened? What did he say? I was wrong. Did I hear that right? He said I was wrong. Okay, I'll give you that one, little grasshopper. Okay, you called me. But you know what? I like the fact that you actually researched that. So okay, if you come from a factual based standpoint, okay, I'll take the L on this one. So, but okay, so Glenn, and then I'll let you wrap up. This is your team. San Francisco, New York. Neither one of them really have easy schedules. Who do you think grabs that last wild card?
I still think it's going to be San Fran. I mean,
they're 4 games back now.
Yeah. So here's the thing: San Fran got the division, but they play them so much they know what they can work with and things like that. I think they can easily take the series. Maybe not sweep the series against LA, but like take most of the series, in that way. So,
Tony, I'm gonna let you wrap this topic up. San Francisco is already at a 4-game deficit trying to get into the wild card. Neither one of them guys or neither one of those teams have easy schedules on the way out. You still feel like San Fran takes over?
I think San Fran has an easier schedule than the Mets do. The Mets both teams have been pretty hot as of late. I say 50-50 at best is their chance. The reason I think the Giants play the Dodgers, I know two series, the Dodgers play down to the competition. I mean, you just see they played the Pirates last 2 games and got handled pretty good by the Pirates. They struggle against lower level teams. And I'm not saying Giants is lower level, but the Dodgers are above them. And they struggle against those teams. And the Dodgers still struggling with pitching a little bit as they get some guys back. They are getting some guys back, but you're not always 100% when you first come back. So I don't think there's any chance they catch the Dodgers, but I think it's 50-50 that they could 22, 23 games left, 4 games. The bad part is I don't think that they play head to head with the Mets. I don't believe. I would like that if they had a head-to-head competition with the Mets. I would like the chances better because you can gain ground quicker if you go in there and you sweep a team. But I say a 50-50 shot.
Okay. What's next up on our list?
Well, you guys got anything else on baseball that you would like to talk about? I think you had a couple of things maybe with baseball, Jay.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of pick Austin's brain a little bit about his assessment of what went on with Framber, Valdez, and Salazar. Just to set the stage for anybody who hasn't seen that already by now. Salazar waved off Framber. Bases were loaded. Waved off Framber, Valdez. Wanted them to come off the mound. Let's recalibrate, come back on. Valdez said, hell with that. Throws the ball, grand slam. Now Framber is discombobulated. He lost focus. He's upset. So then he comes back, and it was supposed to be, I believe, a changeup type pitch that he was calling for, and Framber drills him in the chest with the fastball. Now everybody and doesn't even. The thing about it is, the guy doesn't even go like, "Hey, my bad. Hey, didn't mean it. That's on me." No, that dude kept that same angry, pissed off look as he turns around and walks away to gather himself again. And I'm like, now now it comes down to, was it intentional? Was it not intentional? According to Fromber, it wasn't intentional that they cleared the air in the locker room. That's a political answer he has to give. But I got to tell you, if I drilled somebody in the chest with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, the first thing I'm going to do is, hey, bro, that's on me. That wasn't meant to happen. I apologize, whatever. None of that. Zero. Austin, what is your thoughts on that situation?
I bet it was intentional. 100%. Like, they may have cleared it up and he might have said some things in the locker room, but I mean, you don't know what he was thinking up there. Like, it's hard to not play the blame game being a pitcher. And, you know, you're more comfortable with certain pitches. The catcher, I think he did his job there. He said, no, step off. I mean, guy on second could have had the sign or something. They could have been tipping signs or whatever. And he saw something. He didn't listen, which that's a veteran issue, of course. But, yeah, him throwing the pitch after he signaled to step off, that was his own doing. That's on him. That's on the pitcher. Right. And then coming back, like what you said, though, his reaction, like, I've crossed up guys before, and it shocks you when it happens because you throw it and they completely miss it, or it hits them in the wrist or something. Like, I crossed up my catcher a couple times this year. It was total accident. I've never done it on purpose. That's just crazy to me because that's your teammate either way.
Right.
But yeah, my first reaction is like, my bad. Like, or I'm like shocked. I'm kind of like just standing there like, oh crap, that just happened. But for his first reaction to throw that pitch and turn away and just have this it looked like he did it on purpose. His reaction said it all. So I don't know. And with Framber being such a high level guy, proving himself to stay there, he can do that stuff. He can get away with it. That's just how the game works. He's a veteran, and he can kind of punk those little guys into doing whatever he wants.
What do you think about, ever since Maldonado left, I never realized, I knew he was an important guy. I knew he was a great catcher. I knew he had a great relationship with his pitchers. I know he studied the game. He studied the batters. He could tell you every little nuance about it. Like, he was a student of analytics and really knowing his pitchers and be able to get into their minds and do what he needs to do to get them to perform the way they need to perform. I have not seen too much of that from Yanier. I haven't seen a lot of it from, maybe a little bit I've seen from Victor, but I have not seen enough of Salazar. I've only seen 1 or 2 games with him. But what do you think about the Astros catching situation? And how much of a liability do you think it's going to be to them?
That can hurt them big time. Catcher is that's the quarterback of the field. He kind of creates the tempo. He's got to be one of the smartest guys on the field. No guys swings. So if you have guys that are more focused on their at bats or taking their at bats on the field and stuff, and younger guys, I think veteran catchers are such a they're a very good asset. Extremely good asset to the team. They could hit $150. We've talked about this. They could hit $150 all year. If they're nails behind the plate, nobody cares. And that's the pitcher. That's the catcher that every pitcher is going to want to throw to. Because every team has multiple catchers, and it's up to the pitcher. Usually the starter can kind of go free will. So whoever you're seeing out there the most, that means that the entire staff is wanting him out there. So that's where the trust between teammates has to come in. That's going to be on them. I think it could definitely hurt them big time if they because what we were just talking about, the catcher the other night for the Astros, I think he did the right thing. I don't think he should be docked for that.
Right.
If anything, Framber needs to be talked to. You need to slow the game down a little bit and just wait and see what the catcher's thinking. If he's telling you step off, I've never turned down a step off because your heart's already pumping enough. So if you get a little break from that, then take it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it really blew my mind back when you're in a situation where you got bases loaded and you and your catcher clearly are not on the same page. ego be damned. The last thing I'm going to do in a bases loaded situation is go against my catcher who's waving me off, because that tells me that there's an issue. And the last thing I want is an issue between point A to point B that could lead to a grand slam at a pivotal point of the game. You know what I mean? This blows my mind.
Yeah, that's just that ego getting in the way, I think. Because, I mean, pitchers, we're like everybody, that's how I train my guys. Like, you have to be the biggest pain in the ass on that field at all times. Like, you can't be a soft pitcher. You have to be, because that dude's wanting to take you deep. You got runners on. Like, there's constant pressure. You got to kind of be a dog up there.
Yeah. My last question, then I'm going to turn it back over to Tony to go, or I'll turn it over to Glenn if there's anything baseball-wise he wanted to talk about as well, is with the Astros, I've always known, ever since going back to 2017, even 2016, I felt like I knew the identity of this team. I knew who this team was. I knew our strengths and our weaknesses. I knew everything. I've always had a good, comfortable feeling with this team going into the postseason. I always had a pretty good, confident feeling about it. And this year, I don't know what this team is. And I know a lot of it has to do with injuries. A lot of it has to do with the new manager. A lot of it has to do with new players via the trade deadline and things of that nature. Now we're supposed to be getting Jacoby Meyer, he was batting 308 before he had his injury. So he's going to be another big bat that's going to come into the rotation. I think next week is what Dana Brown is saying, that by next week he should be back in the lineup. So once he comes back to the lineup, that really is a full-fledged Astros team. There is nobody else significant enough that's going to come off of that injury list that's going to make a big difference in this team. Jake Myers really is the last component to come back. Now, I know Paredes is fielding ground balls. So I do expect Paredes to come back to the Astros before we hit playoffs. I'm curious to see how they're going to redo this infield, because once Paredes comes back, he'll take over third. I would assume I don't know how they're going to do Correa and Pena, to fit that into the mix. I would assume maybe one of those, maybe Pena would take over second, maybe Correa would take over shortstop or reversed. But I just don't know. I have not seen this team enough consistently playing, so I don't really know what this team is. What is your make of this team, Austin, and what do you expect out of this team going into the playoffs?
No, I like it. I like the team. I like that they brought Correa back. I mean, if they could get Springer back, it'd be the old 2017, 2019 Astros. So, I mean, and that was a force to reckon with for sure. Yeah, I know we talked about Kyle Tucker. He's wanting to come back because the analytics side was just much better on the Astros side. But I don't know. It's baseball. Literally anything can happen. It's a game of inches. So, but going into this postseason, going into these games that really matter, you definitely see a different tempo, different kind of poise with all the guys on the field, and even the fans, like everybody, it's every pitch. Everybody's not taking a pitch off.
Right.
Which is what makes it so interesting.
Last question. I do have one last question. I know I said that, but I do have one more. So you got Espada as our current manager, which a lot of people weren't exactly hyped about. I know Frankie, the Yankee, wasn't really hyped about it because he played, I guess he was, I don't know if he was a bench coach, but he was an assistant coach with the Yankees there for a little bit. We've always had good managers, whether it be A.J. Hinch, no matter what 2017 was. A.J. Hinch is still, in my opinion, probably the best one of the best managers in baseball right now. He's just amazing. And then we went on to Dusty Baker, which Dusty was Dusty. We obviously got the pennant in 22 with him. So we always had good managerial decision-making in the Astros clubhouse. There was never an issue about our medical staff. There was never any issues about our development. There was never issues about anything. It was always very clean cut. Now that Espada is a man in charge, now we have a lot of speculation about. Now we got Astros medical staff. Now we got decisional makings that maybe he was questioned on about leaving people in too long or whatever. What is your impression of Espada as the Astros coach?
I mean, don't know much about the managing side of things. I've always been a player, kind of keep your nose out of the manager and do what he says. That's kind of the rule. But I mean, like you were saying, Dusty Baker, great manager, legendary. I don't know much about their manager now. Like I said, I haven't been watching a whole lot of baseball. Been playing, focusing on my own game. But I don't know. I think they've made some good decisions so far. Getting Correa back, like I said, that's great move. Like great for the fans and everything when it comes to business decisions and stuff. So, but playoffs are going to determine a lot. That's where you see who can handle the pressure, who can't, and that goes from manager to coaching staff to all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I want to see more out of the Astros is when trade deadline comes around, let's be a little bit more aggressive when we go after people. I mean, there was a lot of really good, talented guys out there that we could have picked up. Nothing against Paredes. I love Paredes. But there was a lot of Edward Suarez, I'm just going to use him as an example. I felt like we were not aggressive enough going after a guy like that, or even a Dylan Cease or another guy we could have added into our starting rotation. But, yeah, that's just from a fan's perspective. Tony, that's all I got for baseball. Glenn, do you have anything in baseball related that you wanted to talk about?
Nope.
That's what I like. Clean cut. No issues.
All right, guys, let's move on to some NFL. We'll talk about the NFC. We'll go through the divisions, and then we'll talk about Thursday night football. Big game tonight, Dallas and Philadelphia. Let's start off with the East. The teams in the East are Dallas, the Giants, Philadelphia, and Washington. Big Glenn, who you think takes this division? What do you think about this division?
We're going to see our first repeat in the NFC East in a long time. The Eagles are going to take the division.
Okay.
And I was going to say also along with that, Washington will finish number 2.
Okay, who's going to be 3? Is it going to be Giants or Dallas?
It has to be Dallas. Giants are just, Giants are Giants right now.
Okay. I'll go next. Man, it's tough because I like Washington a lot. But Philadelphia is real strong on the offensive line and defensive line. So I'm going to give them the edge. I'm going to go with Philly first, Washington second, Dallas third, Giants 4th. Guys, I tell you, I kind of like Dallas a little bit. I like their offense. I think their offense could be good. I know they got a new coach coming in, but I for some reason I think Prescott's going to have a good year. I think he's going to stay healthy, and I think he's going to have a good year with those receivers he's got. I'm a little not say worried. I'm not sure about the running game, so I want to see what that's going to be like.
What running game is my question? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've seen Williams play for Denver. He's I don't know if he's an every down back, but he's not a bad runner, and he's a good pass catcher. So Williams is not bad. I don't know if he's I don't know if he's the lead guy though. I don't know if they have a lead guy. So I question that. Austin, what do you think? Who you like in this division?
I'm not a football guy. That's where I'm gonna have to start doing some homework. Just never been a fan. Born and raised in Texas. Everybody gives me crap for it. But yeah, I'd rather play it. Watching it, I watch the big games, but that's about it.
Okay.
I just know Dallas fans are diehard, and I like to give them a hard time. So
okay.
That's about
you
it.
and Jay get along good.
You'll find out on the evening show. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah. So again, I was talking to True Blue today. He's a Dallas Cowboys super fan, and I was grilling him a lot about what he thought about our division and the Cowboys in general. And he was telling me, I guess he sat in on a lot of scrimmages with the Commanders, and he's obviously he's been on the sideline with the Cowboys and things like that, watching them. I say sidelines, but he's been watching them at the field level. From what he's saying, he feels like that the Commanders, especially Jaden Daniels, is going to take a step back this year. which kind of made me sad because Jay Daniels is my quarterback for fantasy football. So I'm really hoping he's wrong. But I mean, Dan Quinn is Dan Quinn, right? They had a good game or a good season last year. And a lot of times you can have that with the new quarterback, a new coach, things like that. Sometimes things just work out well. So I don't know that I'm fully bought in on the Redskins at that number 2 spot. I do feel like the Eagles are going to get the number 1 spot just because they are very, very deep at a lot of positions, especially on that defense. And they can rotate a lot of guys in and out of that defense and keep them fresh, do different packages. So I still feel like the Eagles are the team. Obviously, they're the defending champions. So they are the team to beat. So I got Eagles at number 1. I think Dak. Well, first of all, Schottenheimer, everybody seems to be really, really, really bought in on Schottenheimer. Like they really feel like Schottenheimer is the guy from the player's perspective, that he's the guy. They expect to see a lot of running. I expect to see a lot of ground and pound from the Cowboys. He seems to be really high on Jaden Blue, the running back from Texas, as being the guy. I think Williams, even though he's listed as a starter, I think it's going to be a running back by committee. And I think just whoever is running the ball best is probably going to be the one that you're going to see featured the most.
It's going to be like a Cincinnati situation. It's going to be like a Cincinnati running back situation is what you're saying.
Very much so. Very much. I think it's going to be running back. Unless Jaden Blue just blows the doors out, I think this will be very much running back by committee. I do like the addition of Booker. I do think our offensive line is doing better. I like the addition of Pickens because I feel like when Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, especially going against Quavion Mitchell, which is a very shutdown corner for the Eagles, I expect to see a lot of hard coverage on Pickens as well as I expect a lot of coverage on CD, which is fine because I think that's going to open up the door for a lot of shots to Jake Ferguson, the tight end. I see a lot of screen passes to the running backs out of the flat. So I don't know. I mean, I do believe that the Eagles are the favorite to win this game, but I don't want to ever look past, the Cowboys. I feel like they still put out a competitive product, even if they don't go win multiple playoff games. So, I do think this is going to be a very close game. I think it's a +8. I think 8 is the over-under on that game. So I think it's going to be very close. I think possibly the Eagles will possibly edge it out just because of how deep they are. But I do like the way that Dallas is trending. I like the fact that they got Clark, which is a run blocker. Yes, they're going to miss Parsons. But this is just other opportunities for other people to step up and handle the job. So we're going to find out a lot about the Cowboys tonight and what they're made out of. But, yeah, if I had to pick tonight's game, even though I love my Cowboys and I really care for them, but as an analyst, and as a non-biased or try to be non-biased person, I see the Eagles taking it. But I do see the Eagles getting the number 1 spot. I think the Cowboys will get 2. I think Washington will get 3. And then I think ultimately the Giants will get 4. But I hope to see Jackson Dart at some point take over the reins in New York just so I can find out what this kid really has.
Yeah, Cowboys definitely cover tonight. They don't win, though.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the West, guys. We got the Rams, Arizona, San Francisco, and Seattle. Jay, who you liking in this division?
Oh, for me, it's still the Rams. As they have ever since they got Devontae Adams now going Puka Nacua. You got Kyler Williams coming out of that backfield is still doing great. Defense is looking pretty good. So I don't know that San Francisco, they got Jennings and they got that other guy, Parasol. Those are their primary wide receivers right now because Ayuk is on the IL. So, I definitely see, and I think Seattle still has a little bit more to go through. I'm not fully vested in Kenny Walker, even though he's on my running back on my fantasy league. I still think he's battling a foot injury, so I think you're going to see a lot more Charbonnet up in there. But at the end of the day, man, I think this is the Rams division to win.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Rams. I'm going to surprise you probably with my number 2. I'm going to say I like Arizona. I think Arizona's going to be 2, San Francisco 3, and Seattle 4. I think Seattle's going to drop off. New coach and everything. I do hope their quarterback does well, but I think they're going to fall off. But yeah, I think Arizona, they've got a good offensive line and they've got a pretty good defense. So I think Arizona's going to be better this year. I think they're going to get second. But Big Glenn, what do you think?
Well, I do think Arizona will be better this year and stuff, especially having Marvin Harrison, with the second year. That's why when we drafted for our Gonzo Sports League fantasy draft, I tried to get Marvin Harrison as soon as possible because I know if I didn't, then Chris would have got him, because I feel like he's going to have a great year. But that's beside the fact. The Rams will win this division. Number 2 will be Seattle. 3 is that's a tough one. Probably San Fran, then Arizona.
Yeah, I see the division that same way. I didn't get my picks, but I see it the same way Glenn does.
Okay. Let's move on to the North, guys. Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota. Jay, who you liking in this division? Division's changed a little bit in the last couple of weeks.
It has, but my interpretation of it is still the same as last year. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't think there was significant enough upgrades to really change my order as it was last year for me. I still think Minnesota is the team to beat. I mean, not Minnesota. Detroit is still the team to beat. I know they lost their offensive and defensive coordinators, but them players are still the players regardless, and that head coach is still the head coach. So for that reason, I still have Detroit taking the top spot. I got Minnesota not Minnesota. I got Green Bay at the second spot with Jordan Love. Obviously, Micah Parsons, what he means to that defense is a game changer. So I think Green Bay is at number 2. And at number 3, then I got to go with Minnesota. And then at number 4, I got the Bears. And the reason why I did that was the reason why I got Minnesota number 1 at number 3 is because I feel like J.J. McCarthy, we don't know what he is yet. Last year they had Darnold who could air the ball out, and Jefferson looked like a stud, which he is a stud, by the way. But now that J.J. McCarthy's there, he doesn't throw the ball as deep as what Darnold did. So I don't know what that's going to mean for his yardage. Because he's not going to be getting the super deep balls like he was in the past. So I don't know enough about JJ yet, or I have not seen enough from JJ yet to really swing me the other way. Obviously, you also have Addison, I think it is. He's on suspension, right? And then they have, who's the other one? Naylor, but Naylor's kind of slightly injured. And so then you got Thielen.
Yep.
So I think Thielen is going to get a lot of reps. For some reason, I just feel like he's going to play a big part in that Minnesota game up until they come off suspension and injury. Then I think he takes a step back. And then round it up with Chicago. Jeez, man. If Caleb Williams gets kicked off into the bench in that one preseason, and then if Ben Johnson comes back and kicks off his O-line because his O-line can't get set right, if you're having those problems in preseason – what the hell is that going to mean for you in regular season? And that's why I feel like Chicago, and until I see a different change, in my mind, Chicago's still Chicago.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Jay. I'm still riding with Detroit to win the division. I got Green Bay second, Minnesota third, Chicago last until Chicago shows me something. Minnesota, I just don't know about the quarterback. We really ain't seen him. Green Bay was a team that won 11 games last year. Can Parsons make that big of a difference? Detroit lost all their coordinators. But I still think I like the Detroit head coach. He's hard-nosed. I think they just have a better overall team than Green Bay if they stay healthy. But we got to remember, Detroit had so many players on the injured list and still did pretty well. So I like Detroit if they're healthy. So, Big Glenn, what do you think?
Yes. What was the question again? I was in the middle of the conversation with somebody else.
Okay, no problem. We're talking about the NFC North, Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota.
Whew. Green Bay's going to take this division. They're going to do what they've always done, is find that right player at the right time, and consider the fact of what our guy Frankie the Yankee was saying in the group chat a few weeks ago about how the Charles Haley thing, and his son is the one that got freaking Micah over to the Green Bay, is all that I need to know to know that Green Bay will win that division. As far as who will finish the second, that will be the Lions. That I think that game will come down to the last game of the year between those two. Whoever wins their last game or whatever will win that division. Then Minnesota will take a step back, obviously, with J.J. McCarthy as their quarterback. Then, obviously, unfortunately, Mike Hughes' Bears, it is in the cellar in that way.
Oh, Mike don't hear this, so we'll be jumping on. Okay, guys, let's go to the South. Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay. I'll go first on this, guys. I like Atlanta because I really like the quarterback Phoenix, but I'm gonna go with Baker and Tampa Bay. I'm gonna go Atlanta second, Carolina. I'm gonna go third, and New Orleans fourth because I'm not a believer in the quarterback situation at all. So I think that Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Big question is the team that wins this division, or they're gonna have a winning record? The South sometimes has problems even having a winning record, but I think Tampa Bay will, and I think Atlanta will. I think Atlanta is going to be a solid team this year. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I still feel like this is a super weak division for me. I think Tampa still does get the number one spot. I think Atlanta could take that number one spot if they would ever, for the love of God, figure out how to get Kyle Pitts involved in the passing game. I feel like, ever since he came out of, I think he came out of Miami, if I'm not mistaken. Ever since he came out of Miami, he was a stud at Miami. It was great. He goes over to Atlanta, they barely use him. Like, you almost think the guy's not even really there. So I feel like they don't fully utilize all of their offensive weapons that they should. Now, maybe now that Michael Penix is there, maybe Penix and Pitts will see this season if it comes to fruition. But between Penix and Pitts, those two need to be spending some time together, because when Drake London and and everybody else is being covered up, I really feel like Kyle Pitts is a big guy. That's a big target, especially in the end zone, if nothing else. So I feel like if they can ever get him more involved, then maybe I think Atlanta can finally take that next step to becoming a really good, strong, powerful team. But until then, I got Tampa at 1. I got Atlanta at 2. Who's else in that? New Orleans, and who's the third one in there?
Carolina.
Yeah, there you go. So New Orleans, Carolina in that respective order.
Okay, Big Glenn.
Obviously, Tampa Bay's winning the NFC South. Your number 2 will be Atlanta. You can really flip-flop Carolina and New Orleans because of quarterback situations, whether it be 3 or 4. I don't trust Spencer Rattler being the quarterback for New Orleans. But I trust Bryce Young a little bit more, if that makes any sense, so.
No, it makes total sense. I don't understand why Leggett, the receiver for Carolina, he was picked pretty high in the draft. But yeah, it just seems like he just can't get going. Like, he's just been a total dud ever since and I don't know if that's as much to do with Bryce Harper, or not Bryce Harper, one baseball in my brain. Bryce Young just can't get in the ball, or if Bryce Young is still developing, and maybe that's just something that will formulate over time. But it just seems to me like Leggett is just going to waste on that Carolina offense.
Yeah, I don't. It's weird. Some college players struggle coming into the league, and I don't know why. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world, and maybe a head case. Who knows what the situation is there? And Carolina's not a real good team. Sometimes some of these guys are stars on a team that's loaded with stars. It's easy to be a star. And then you go somewhere where now you're playing against stars, and your team don't have a lot of stars, so you get that kind of exposed sometimes. I mean, and we've seen it happen. We've seen number 1 picks come in that people think are a sure shot. I know that because the coach has picked a couple of them and be duds. So you just never know. Guys, let's talk a little bit. You guys both kind of talked a little bit about Dallas and Philadelphia. Man, I'm telling you, I think Dallas is going to be better than what people think. And I almost picked Dallas to win this game. The only thing holding me back is Philadelphia is really going to be fired up. Their first home game since winning it all. And it's going to be the game's at Philly. I think it's going to be a real close game. I'm taking Philadelphia 23-20. But I think
Gilly will be coming out and doing the bird and everything else, man. I
think it's going to be a real good game. And I think if Dak stays healthy, I think Dak I think Dak has a career year.
I think
I sure hope so, Tony.
and that's the thing, right? A lot of people are saying Dallas this and Dallas that, but a lot of people don't realize that Dak Prescott has been injured more often over the last 2 seasons, really more specifically last season, right? And so everybody's saying, well, the Cowboys are going to finish third. It's the Washington, it's the Eagles. But they're not taking into consideration that we were playing with backup quarterbacks for the majority of that season. So I think it's a little skewed on what they're trying to on what their evaluation is, right? I feel like Dallas is kind of getting a little bit of kickback on that. Now, I'm not saying that Dallas is better than the Eagles, because I just told you a minute ago that the depth chart of the Eagles is so deep that they can substitute guys in and out with no problem, that are high caliber guys, no problem. And Dallas just doesn't have that depth at their positions to really be able to do that. And so I feel like the depth is what hurts Dallas the most. I'm not going to talk about the coaching, because I don't know enough about Schottenheimer as a head coach, because he's never been a head coach. He's only been our offensive coordinator. So I think this is really his year. Now, he got a lot of flack from a lot of people, Schottenheimer has, right? I mean, everybody says, well, Schottenheimer, he's no good. He's never been a head coach. He's just barely an offensive coordinator. He takes a lot of criticism. But I think this is his year. I think he can do it. I don't think he's a total yes man, like what everybody has thinking about past Cowboys coaches. I know there were times when Mike McCarthy and Dak, he wouldn't even listen to Dak. It was all Mike McCarthy and very little Dak input. Now, I don't understand why you wouldn't want the input of your quarterback, your QB1, when he's the one out there on the field seeing things and doing things, and you're going to disregard him. So I'll put a little bit of that on Mike McCarthy, which is kind of where Schottenheimer actually has a rapport with Dak Prescott, actually listens to Dak, and they work together as a cohesive team. That's why I think we might see a little bit different version of Dak this year than we've seen in previous years. I mean, Austin, you know damn good and well, your pitching coach is probably like your best friend out there. You're going to listen to your pitching coach. I mean, you said a minute ago you listen to orders and take instruction, but I'm pretty sure you were able to give feedback. Even with the catcher, you guys have feedback. You guys go over things. You listen to your catcher, he listens to you, and you formulate. I just don't understand. I don't get it with Dak and McCarthy. It's crazy.
So losing team mentality.
Right.
Unfortunately, when you don't trust anybody that's giving you instruction, then you're not going to listen to them. Like, yeah, I've listened to pitching coaches when they're good, and they knew, like, you could tell they knew a lot. Right. And they can adapt to the time period, because a lot of pitching coaches that I have, and a lot of those coaches, they're all pretty old. They're up there in age, because the experience goes a long way, and being able to adapt with the years and not trying to harp on something that was not even the same game anymore. Like, that's what, right. That's how I see it.
Glenn, real quick, I just want to get your thought real quick. It's almost kind of like, if it's a Mike McCarthy or if it's a Cam Ward, and you're fresh off, your college career, just now getting into your NFL career, they throw you out there to the Wolves as your year one. I kind of get it where your coach needs to be in charge up until you get the experience to actually have a quantified opinion on the matter. And it just seems like Dak Prescott's been in the league long enough. He's had enough passing yardage. He's proved himself to be able to throw the ball and complete passes and do things at a high level. You would think that that the coach would want to hear his opinion on those subjects. It blows my mind.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's like a Jimmy Johnson kind of situation.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, to your point, perfect example is Richardson and with the Colts. The quarterbacks coach came out and said, "Look, so we've tried everything with him. We've done this, we've done that, we've changed things, we've tried everything, and he just ain't got. He just hasn't grasped it yet. He just hasn't come together yet. He didn't say that he didn't think he wouldn't come together someday, but he said as of right now, he just hadn't got it."
Do you think the problem with Anthony Richardson, though, is not that he can't get it, not that he can't do it, but he's just too lazy to put the work into it to actually get it? Because we know he's been late to meetings and things like that in the past. That was the knock on Richardson, is that he's lazy, that he doesn't put the work into it. So how can you expect a guy to go out there and play at the highest level when he doesn't even take his preparation at the highest level?
Yeah. Well, I was worried. I was worried that when we got him. He was a project. Guy played 16 games in college. He was a project, and we should have never picked him with the 4th pick in the draft. I wouldn't have had a problem if we took him in the 2nd or 3rd round. I just think I think it was a stretch, and it's turned out to be that way. But that being said, I hope he becomes successful, whether even if it's not with the Colts. I mean, I hope the young man figures it out and gets a chance, if it is with the Colts next year or with somebody else. I think he's got talent. I mean, you see it shine at times, but then the tapping out incident where he taps out. Like you said, been reports he shows up late for practice. I just don't know if his heart's. You can have talent, but don't mean you got a heart. So.
Yeah, because you would think if I'm Anthony Richardson and I'm in the quarterback battle for my job with Daniel Dimes Jones, you would think that he would be in that film room all day, every day. He'd be on that practice field, first one there, taking reps. You would think he would be doing all the extra things outside of what his job description is to show the team, to show his coaches, but more importantly, to prepare himself to be able to go out and execute. And I think that's where the disconnect is. Now, the Colts have come out and said they're not trading Anthony Richardson, that they're going to keep him and continue to try to develop him. That's what they've said. But how do you develop a guy that doesn't have the dog mentality or the Mamba mentality, to want to go out there and be the best that he can possibly be? When you're not devoting your time to your craft, especially at the pro level, I don't get it. I mean, yeah, it blows my mind.
Yeah. Guys, I was planning on a hot seat segment, but I don't want to. I want to do the hot seat, but I'm going to change it a little bit. Okay. I want to put Austin on the hot seat.
Hell yeah! Why that kid?
I want all of us to come up with a baseball question. Any baseball question you want to ask him, and I want to go first because I'm interested in his take on this. I want to know who he thinks will be in the World Series this year. What 2 teams and why?
I'm actually pretty good at guessing this for some reason.
Okay.
Guessing right past 2 years. So let's see. This is going to sound biased, but I like the Astros. I think the Astros have it. I think they got what it takes. But I would have to go probably LA again.
Okay.
They got just way more depth in all aspects, kind of. So, and they have a lot of big name guys that they picked up over the years that kind of, like what I was talking about earlier, they understand the pressure in the later season. So it's like playing a regular game for them. I think the Astros, they got a lot of young guys that they don't really know that, but that young talent is speaking volumes, obviously. So, yeah, I would go Astros or LA.
Okay. Beginning of the season, I went with the Tigers and the Dodgers. And I'll stay with the Tigers. The Dodgers worried me with the bullpen. I watch a lot of Dodgers games because my wife is a Dodger fan, and a lot of the games are late. And I stay up late because I work 3rd shift on my days off, so I see a lot of late games, and I watch a lot of Dodgers. But yeah, I could see that, man. I mean, do I think Houston's the best team in the league? No, but that don't always matter. I mean, a team can get hot, and they looked really good in June hitting the ball. I mean, they was just really hitting. Everything was in all cylinders as far as their offense goes. And then they got injuries, and sometimes that's hard to come back from. But it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be. I think we might be surprised this year. I think we may see 2 teams in the World Series that none of us expected. I mean, coming into the year, we may see a Milwaukee and Boston, or something like that we really didn't expect.
Exactly. That's what I'd rather. I like the 2 underdogs. When Rangers and Diamondbacks happened, it was like finally it's not the Yankees or the Dodgers for the first time in the past 20 years.
Okay, Big Glenn, I'll give you an opportunity to ask Austin a question on the hot seat.
Yes. Who do you think is the best pitcher of all time?
You better get this one correct, Austin.
Nolan
yeah,
Ryan.
he's on a hot seat, all right.
I mean, statistics, Nolan Ryan, but his longevity was just so it's not comparable to guys now. But with that said, when it comes to actual hitting spots, numbers, analytics, like stuff, I'd say DeGrom when he's healthy. He's one of the only pitchers that can dot an outside corner with 100, 102, 90-plus mile-per-hour slider and hit the outside low and away corner every single time.
I thought when Austin said he's with hitting spots, I thought he was going a different direction. I thought he was going with Greg Maddux, but he was talking about hitting spots. I thought that's where he was going at first.
No, I try to get past that era just because the game's so much different. Like guys have success now with the hitters, that the technology and all that stuff. Like it's not even the same game anymore. Like back in the day, you had your guys that were just unreal. They figured it out better than anybody else at the time period. And it was like substantially greater. Now it's like it's inches. Guys are better. Like very, very, very small comparisons that are making these guys different from one another. Which then, I mean, Nolan Ryan was light years away from most pitchers. Randy Johnson, same thing. Like that's why they're household names. Now you got Paul Skeens, you got DeGrom, you got all these guys that are like just beasts, young. Like, I mean, I think Paul Skeens is going to be the next Nolan Ryan. He's thrown 100-something pitches, ninth inning of the game, still touching 102, 103. So I think it's just going to look, yeah, those guys are legends, but I think these guys can be more recognizable legends if they have the same careers lengthwise.
Okay, Jay, you got a question for Austin?
Yes. Given your background, I take it you're a valid member of the NRA. Sorry, that wasn't really a question. I'm sorry, it just happened. I do like the weapons though. That's pretty cool. I like how you have displayed like that. I did that one time. Melanie took them down.
Yeah. Looking pretty good.
I don't blame Melanie for making you put your guns up, Jay.
Yeah, she did. She said, "Jay, we can't put that up there, Jay."
I'll be locking them things up and keeping them away from me if I was Melanie.
No, my question for you is, Sonny, I just got to segue off that one quick. No, my question for you is, look, man, you know, Ohtani, I want to take him for example, or just use him. He obviously he's a two-way guy, and he does two-way very well. How long do you give Ohtani being a viable two-way player before? Number one, how long do you give him? Given you already see him having Tommy John. Do you think he's going to go at a very long rate, or how many years do you think that's the question I'm going to ask. How many years do you think he does it at a very high productive level, being a two-way player?
I think as long as he wants. I mean, that dude's basically built in a lab. Like he's insane. He's huge. He's fast. He plays the game right. Like I think he's probably this is probably controversial, but he's the best player to ever play the game. Like, you got your good hitters like Barry Bonds who put up crazy numbers, but he couldn't get on that mound and throw 100 miles per hour and strike out the same comparison of best dudes in his time period. Like, I mean, pitcher and hitter. I mean, that's unreal what he does. And the surgery that he got, it's his second surgery. It's the same one that I got. They put an internal brace over your UCL, which kind of protects it. But the new research with this surgery is for guys who have two surgeries and they just had the basic Tommy John full reconstruction of the UCL. They have like a 2% chance of continuing to play their career. This surgery, if you have two surgeries and this one's your second one, they gave it like over a 70% chance of continuing to play and to continue to pitch at that level. So I think he can do it as long as he wants. He's got more resources and the best of the best taking care of him. Like, I mean, I think the sky's the limits for him.
Real quick, and it goes, and this is all ties in with the same question, really. You know, a lot of people don't realize Babe Ruth was a two-way player. They took him off the mound and put him in the outfield at a certain point, but he actually was the very first two-way player to ever do it. And I wonder if if they would have left him as a pitcher and hitter, how long he could have gone in that span, because back then they didn't have Tommy John, they didn't have the medical sciences, like you said, being in a lab, because of all the genetical things that are now versus but then, I wonder how far do you think Babe could have gone in this era if he would have had that type of surgeries and things like that?
Maybe a year.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't throwing 100. He probably wasn't even throwing 90 at the time. Like, I mean, that does a toll on you.
Right.
Like, I was a low to mid, maybe a little bit more. I topped out at 97. I mean, your body is hurting after that. Like,
right.
To this day, I couldn't figure out how these guys go 162 games throwing. Their velocity does not change. Their stuff doesn't change. It's just elite every single time. Like how their bodies are willing to hold up on it. Because, I mean, even after surgery, you get like it's probably 2 or 3 years before your arm feels 100%, like where you have zero pain, because like all that scar tissue starts to go away and everything. I don't think Babe Ruth was really throwing anything crazy to where he would need surgery. Because again, different time period. He was legendary for the time period, figured it out faster than everybody else, clearly. But you put him today, I mean, I don't think he hits very well. I bet he's probably a below average hitter at this time period. And, pitching, you got to look at the athletes now. These guys are specimens. They're physical, just everything they do is elite. Like, put what they put in their body, everything else, for the most part. But, Babe Ruth was, there early in his career, he was in shape, but that wasn't really the standard back then.
Austin, that man was drunk 85% of the time when he went to the plate. I tell you what, if you want to tell me,
like a beer league, and he looked like a beer league guy. He did it better. He did it better than everybody.
Hey, I will tell you this. For me to give Ohtani the best that's ever played the game, I need to put a pair of beer goggles on that man, throw him up at the plate, and if that son of a bitch can hit the damn ball outside the ballpark being drunk, then I will give him that designation. I'm kidding. I think Ohtani probably is
back and see how Babe would do being sober. And that's
oh no, we don't want a sober Babe. That would ruin the whole mystique.
Different time period. When you're that good and you're better than everybody else by that much, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. I mean, I think that man carried around a 40-ounce bat, if I remember correctly. I mean, he had a strong piece of lumber up at the plate, probably comparable to what Aaron Judge is using. I know Aaron Judge has a pretty big bat as well.
See, Aaron Judge is a good example of like the modern what Babe Ruth should have been, because he's probably about similar size. Just Aaron Judge is full muscle and just insane athlete. So,
yeah, no, he definitely is. He definitely is an insane athlete. There's no doubt about it. Tony?
Guys, that's all I've got for today. You guys got anything you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Hey, I can touch on one thing real quick. Did y'all see Amari Cooper? I just saw this. Amari Cooper retired.
He hasn't been on my fantasy roster for 2 years, so yeah.
But no, I mean, like, he just signed. He signed with the Raiders with no indication of him retiring. Like, they didn't say he's going to sign a 1-year deal and then retire, or a 1-day deal and retire. Like, he just signed and then all of a sudden retires. It just came out on ESPN. I just happened to scroll by.
My guess, Jay, is that he has been thinking about retiring, or his body's at that point where he's wanting to retire, and just said, this came out openly and said, I'm done today.
Yeah, it says his decision comes after he signed a 1-year deal with the organization in August 26. Cooper, 31, said returning to the Raiders, who drafted him 4th overall in 2015 when they based in Oakland, was a full circle moment, and that he still had some juice left. Well, if he got some juice left, why the hell are you retiring? Unless I guess he wants to go out at the top of his game and not be whatever. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm not athlete, obviously, but it's one of those things that when you know when your body knows in that way when it's time to go, time to retire, things like that. Like it's like, hey, I'm done here.
Because even the GM, Spytech, came out and said that they were going to factor Amari to be a big part of the game plan against the Patriots this weekend. So it's weird. Again, Glenn, it must have been he got on that field and just wasn't feeling good about himself, and so I guess he figures I'm just going to go ahead and hang it up. That's all I can figure it to be.
Yeah, he probably has went through the motions and things like that, and he can tell that he doesn't have the juice that he needs to be able to compete at a high level. Is what I'm thinking has happened here.
That's the only thing that makes sense. But Tony, did you have anything else?
No, man, I'm good to go. We'll be talking a lot of NFL tomorrow. Talk some college football. Definitely touch on a little baseball. So see everybody tomorrow.
All right. Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed today's content. I want to thank Austin again for coming on the afternoon show today to hang out with us a little bit. And you can catch me in Austin starting this Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. And I guess that's 7 o'clock California time. I don't know.
Yep.
My math is getting crazy. So, but anyway, you can catch the evening show with me and Austin starting this coming Tuesday, again, 9 p.m. Central. Until next time, man, that'll be good. And enjoy hanging out with you.